Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Webhead Podcast, where we talk about everything in American pop culture news. My name is Ryan Walsh.
And I'm Quinn Mullaney.
And today we're going to be talking about a bunch of different things. But first off, we want to start off with some Wonder Woman 1984 news. And it looks like WB has pushed this movie back 7 months to June 5th, 2020. Quinn, why the heck would WB push this movie back? Are they maybe in trouble some way?
So there's no official statement with it. It's just, and they put kind of a positive spin on it too. I think in Gal Gadot's tweet, she's like, back where it should be. The only thing that makes sense to me for this, because there's been no problems with this production so far. Historically, Gal Gadot, Patty Pogue, these movies have gone kind of without a hitch, unlike much of other DC's projects. So you'd think they would just kind of like keep it out. The only thing that makes sense to me is that they're pushing this back so that they can make Wonder Woman a summer blockbuster again. Because its original date was in November, which I don't see that as being a bad thing, but I think they kind of wanted to remarket her as a summer blockbuster and just kind of fill some kind of space that they had. Because right now, they have nothing planned for 2020, and they don't want to be forgotten about, so to speak, in 2020. And that's the only thing to me that makes sense, because, this movie it looked good, it has the full cast, we've seen the set photos, there's been no problems with it, it's got the same director, she's written the script. It seemed to be going off without a hitch. So that's the only thing to me that makes sense, Ryan,
Yeah, honestly, I feel like, I think most people, most people are going to say DC is complete, like, they ruined Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's no good. I haven't looked that far into this to see what people are saying about it, but I have a feeling that's exactly what everybody's talking about. Because, of course, every single time we talk about DC movies, DC is dead. It's no longer a thing where it's just gone, and which is just ridiculous.
Well, to be fair,
ridiculous to say that.
The news that we've been getting has not been the news we wanted, and Aquaman hasn't come out yet, so we don't really know what state DC's in. But from all the news that we've been getting, it's very, very easy for everyone to jump on this DC hate wagon because everything we've gotten is kind of negative lately.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. We just got Flash. We just talked about in the last one. It got pushed back. So it is pretty annoying. And when did that get pushed back? I think that was
2020.
I think that was 2020 as well.
Yeah, I think it was 2020.
So it looks like they're really trying, just because.
Was that the release or production?
Oh no, it's 2021. No, 2021 is when the movie's supposed to come out.
Oh, 2021.
Flash movie,
okay,
that is.
yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense. That right there, that makes sense because. This is what you want to do. You want to spread out your movies so, nobody forgets about you. Because the thing is, right now, since November of last year? Nothing.
Yeah.
Just nothing. So 2018 has been nothing, and we're going to get it right at the end of 2018. Not a good idea, in my opinion. Aquaman should have come out sooner.
Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe they should have been
last month or this month.
Yeah, even then, just a couple months a little sooner, but even, I don't know, I think, they should have planned for something in, April. Obviously they had their plans and they just had that huge switch up, but...
I think Suicide Squad 2 in April would have been perfect.
Yeah, but now there's, rumors of James Gunn doing Suicide Squad 2 or something like that.
Yeah, which is another thing that I wanted to ask you about. I don't think we talked about this yet.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Just real briefly,
It's not the movie... that's not the movie I want him for. I want him to do Green Lantern because it's cosmic. He does a great job with all this cosmic universe, and he was going to be the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Or, the cosmic side of it. He was building that whole universe.
He was in the big lead. You know what I'd rather see him in? I'd rather see him attached to the New Gods project. I think
I can see why, I can see him doing that. Don't get me wrong. I think that'd be sweet. I want him to do Green Lantern just because I think he would do an amazing job with that. But I could see him doing New Gods too. I like the director they have on for New Gods though, which is she was up for Black Panther. I forget. Let me look it up actually real quick. But I don't know when this movie's coming out or anything.
But
I know that Ava DuVernay is a really good director.
Right. Do you have any of it?
She's like, I'm pretty sure she's like
Do you have
Oscar
anything she's
nominated
done?
or
Just like some examples.
Selma. That movie, yeah. So that movie Selma, she did.
Okay.
A lot of stuff I'm not. The only one I am familiar with is Selma, and I remember she was like Oscar nominated for that. So she has one really good movie under her belt. All the other ones, I don't really know of it. So, like, I can't say, like, it's one movie, so that doesn't mean she's the best ever. But, at least she got something good. And obviously Marvel wanted to work with her because she was in line to direct Black Panther.
Really?
Before Ryan Coogler. Yeah, so she was the first one in talks to direct Black Panther, and then they got Ryan Coogler to do it because she didn't want to do it. Instead,
which worked out great.
And this is the big thing. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that's when she was in talks to do New Gods. Right when she was, right around the same time for Black Panther.
That's exciting for a
director,
to be able to just kind of walk into a project and say, do what you want with something that has so much to it.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, yeah, like the 2 movies she was offered.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah,
I mean, Black Panther was already
established
in one movie, but yeah, but like, think about it, like, Black Panther, he was established, but yeah, the whole world, like, she still had
room to play,
control to do the entire world of Wakanda, which is huge. Yeah. So it's like, that's pretty sweet. And then New Gods, personally for me, there's gonna be a lot of Marvel fans that don't like this, but I would have picked New Gods as well. I think that's a better pick, just because I like the whole story.
I think
of
you
New
can
Gods.
win an Oscar
really
with
cool,
New Gods
and all the characters.
I don't know why I say that, but like,
oh no, I don't think so.
Dude, because
they don't give.
Think about it. You don't
give
have
superhero
to play
movies
it
Oscars
one way or another. You don't. It is a superhero movie, but you can make that not really be a superhero movie. You can make that like a really high stakes drama or like a great tragedy.
Yeah.
New Gods has such like a kind of theatrical element to it, at least in my opinion, that you can really go whatever way you want with it. I don't think you're tied down to the very tried and true, superhero dilemma, superhero conflict, superhero kind of formula when you're directing something like a New Gods.
Well, the only thing I'll say about that is, like, if, like, you put... I mean, they're definitely going to put Darkseid in the movie. How can you not establish Darkseid? So that's the only thing where it's like, when you start getting into that stuff, I mean, I agree with you, there's definitely that element of it, but you could say the same thing about Thor, where I feel like Thor definitely is one of those movies, like,
I could see that.
Could make that movie, you could make that, you could make that movie really, really, like, an Oscar movie, but the thing is, they don't really do that because you still got to appeal to that audience that wants to see a superhero movie, and then, of course, Oscars are completely, they're so known for snubbing comic book related movies, even though, when you look at like Logan or The Dark Knight, those are my 2 big examples. They don't feel like a superhero movie, but they still snub them because they're just superhero related.
Yeah. And that's
like,
the thing, they're always going to be tied down with that. And that's why I think New Gods is a good example of that, because I don't think it will be tied down to that. It probably will be, most likely, but I'm saying if you wanted to really go for it, I think you could do it with New Gods. Because it doesn't exactly follow that same kind of formula as the other movies.
Yeah, and then also, like, really just to add on to it too is like, not for saying, like, because I know there's going to be some people that are going to nitpick at this, but not saying that New Gods can't get an Oscar like Suicide Squad did. They got, like, the costume Oscar. I think you're talking the same thing as me. Like, Best Picture, Best Director. Like, something that really, like... I don't want to be mean, but I mean, like, means something for the movie and the story, not something for just the costumes. That's important in Oscars, but, I'm talking, like, story and movie.
So, I mean, overall, what do you think, getting back on topic here, what do you think DC's strategy is with these movies? Because we...
exactly what you said. They're spreading it out, which is the smartest thing to do. Spread it out, because you don't want to be forgotten, and you don't want to just completely, because it's like, imagine we get Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and then
I think
and everybody loves that stuff.
I think that's a good idea, especially
like,
when you're not in a good light right now. Like, people aren't. Yeah. So I think if you make a good movie and you make people kind of wait for the next one, it'll start to, like, build hype. Whereas you put out a bunch of good movies, and then there's a big gap. Like, I think you're right. I think that'll be easier for people to forget. as opposed to, oh, I can't wait for the next one kind of type situation, which I think a lot of
Yeah.
these movies really succeed off of.
Yeah, and there is a pretty big gap already. I mean, if you think about it, there's nothing from Wonder Woman to, say, Flash
Yeah.
is the next movie.
I mean,
that
we're
we
getting
know
one
that's coming
DC
out.
movie
I mean,
a
we
year.
don't know when New Gods is coming
Yeah.
out. Yeah, we don't know when New Gods is coming out. We don't know when the Batman Matt
Right.
Reeves movie is coming out. If
Or
it's
a
ever
sequel to
coming
Justice
out. But,
League.
you know,
Or a sequel to Suicide Squad.
that's definitely they said that's definitely not happening. Justice League 2, it's not happening as of right now. Maybe think about it from the studio standpoint. They didn't make any money.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they didn't make any real
No,
money.
yeah, you
know?
got a point there.
But
That's sad. I don't want to hear
Which
that news.
stinks.
I want to see a sequel.
yeah, but it's like you're setting up New Gods.
Right.
So get New Gods, establish them, and then you can. Which I actually think
I
this is
do
a
too.
great idea. This is what Marvel did not do.
Yeah.
This is what Marvel. I mean, don't get me wrong. Thanos was extremely well developed.
Yeah.
But now it's like you could take. Say they made an Eternals movie before they made Infinity War. You could establish Thanos and the Eternals and really establish the whole world, and then have them.
But
have them
on the
collide.
flip side, and I think one of the unique things about Infinity War that people really liked is that we don't know where Marvel's going from here. If you had done Eternals before that, people would have been like, oh, okay, so now Eternals is going to come into play. Oh, okay, this is what's going to happen after this.
Yeah.
And for the first time in Marvel Universe,
Mhm.
we really don't know what direction they're going to take it in.
Yeah.
That's what that's
true.
how I kind of see
a
it,
little
as
bit of
why
mystery.
they did it the way they did.
That's true. But I mean, like, if you're DC, do it a little different,
Yeah.
but still, like,
Yeah. I think
Still
New
make it.
Gods first is I'm excited for that. I think that could be something really, really unique to the screen. So
yeah, just don't make Steppenwolf again. You can leave
yeah,
him out.
you don't
of it.
have to
Nobody's
bring
gonna
him
care.
back. Nobody's excited for that. I just want to
Yeah,
see
it makes
you
them
know,
just
Orion, the Forever
makes them cool
People,
characters.
the Allfather, the Source. I want to see Darkseid. I want to see Desaad. I want to see Mr. Miracle, Bertha. I want to see all
Yes.
that.
See, I want to see Mr. Miracle. He would be
Yeah.
cool.
Calabac. I think it's Calabac. Yeah.
There's, and the thing is, like, I mean, obviously for me, like, I want to see what Apocalypse looks like.
Yeah.
There's a whole world of Apocalypse. I want to see what that looks like. New Genesis, all that's really
Yeah.
cool stuff. So, you could do a lot with that stuff. I'm excited
Yeah.
for it. I just hope that,
And those
it
are
comes out.
complicated places. I've read a little bit of New Gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually way in the back. You guys probably can't see it, but I have it set up there. I read it. I was reading a couple of it, and New Gods is very, very. There's a lot in it. It's not very.
Yeah, it's what Star Wars was based off
Really?
of a little
I
bit.
didn't know that. Fun fact.
Oh yeah. George Lucas even said himself. He went to what was it? He read some New Gods, and you can even line it up. You can
Death
really
Star,
line up.
Apocalypse.
It's like Orion and Darkseid.
I can see it.
That's Orion's father is Darkseid,
Yeah.
and he has to go to this giant apocalypse world to defeat
Yeah.
Darkseid. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh hey, the Death Star is Apocalypse. Darkseid is Darth Vader. Luke Skywalker is Orion. It's like you can line it up a
I
little
definitely
bit.
see what you're saying with that.
So I think they should definitely play off that. I mean, don't make it super similar to
Yeah.
Star Wars, but you can make it a little like Star Wars. I don't
Yeah.
think that's a problem.
It's not like we like Star Wars right now.
I'm just
anyways.
very excited to see that movie.
I mean, we love Star Wars. Star Wars is great.
Watch DC do Star Wars better than Star
Yeah, you
Wars.
could make a better Star Wars. Yeah. There we go.
Literally, boom. There you
There
go.
you go, DC. Get out of the superhero
But-
business. Just go straight into take Star Wars' market from them. There you go.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a
Probably
strategy.
good. But also, like, still sticking in with the DCEU or Worlds of DC, whatever you want to call it. There's one more little thing. It's a very small thing, but they released some official shots of Volko, which is Willem Dafoe's character in the
Right.
Aquaman movie, along with Orm.
Yeah.
And they're both riding these sharks. Quinn, what do you think of these sharks? I think
They're
awesome,
really
but-
blurry photos. That's the first thing I should say about them. I do
Yeah. Actually,
like
are they
seeing
official
Volko
shots?
in it. He's an
Maybe they
exciting
are.
character. For those of you who don't know Volko, very briefly, he's Aquaman's Atlantean friend who kind of like is his liaison to the surface in sort of ways. Because like when Aquaman's living on the surface, he talks to Volko about like what's happening in Atlantis and that kind of stuff. So he's basically like a really strong Aquaman ally, and I think William Dafoe's a brilliant actor. And I don't know, something about him riding around on a hammerhead shark is just getting me all excited to see Aquaman.
Yeah, no, same. Like, this is something that I really wanted to see. You know, this is because it's cool stuff. You know, I mean, obviously everybody thinks that Aquaman. It's like, oh, that's corny. No, you could do some really cool stuff
like
with
people
Aquaman.
riding around on sharks,
and it looks like they're taking advantage of it. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, like in the sad part is this is, you know, what we got from Justice League. It's just not what needed. You know, they were making. But but the thing is, it's so tough to do it because they shouldn't even show Atlantis at all.
That should have been just canned from the movie. They should have gone with a different road.
You know,
I'd rather see him like
justice.
in Maine, or you know, at Amnesty Bay, or just you know out wherever he was. I'd rather see more of that place and that kind of stuff than just him. Than that little snippet we got of Atlantis. I mean, I get what they were doing, but it just like it wasn't enough, and it didn't do it justice.
Yeah, because it's like I'm sitting there the whole time, and I'm like, this isn't Atlantis. This looks like a room. Oh, like really
it looks like a burned out church under the water.
Oh yeah, there's the.
That looked terrible.
Yeah, there's the throne over there. It's that rock.
This is all Atlantis is.
It's like
one
the
little
dude in the
spire
chair
room with a big brick in the middle.
You look at was it Aquaman when he first shows up, right? He's like he comes right up to this throne, and it's like a dead guy with like you know, like they don't explain it. I don't know if that's like a king, maybe that was the king of Atlantis. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's just some random chair, and like, is that the throne? Because if that's the throne, that is so sad. It's so sad. I mean, the first time I watched the movie, I was just excited because I really actually enjoyed the movie. Then now I watch it more and more, and I'm like, wow, that really was crap.
Yeah,
that was actually really crap.
It's hard to go back and watch that film.
So
for sure.
Yeah. All right, though. We'll be moving on to another topic, which is going to be still staying in that whole DC universe, but not the movies. We're going to be going over to the CW TV shows, and we're really going to be talking about the whole event, the crossover event with Arrow, Supergirl, and The Flash, and that's going to be Elseworlds. They released a bunch of different things for this, what the Flash is going to look like, what Green Arrow will look like, and all the different costumes. Quinn, what do you think of all this new pictures of Elseworlds?
So Elseworlds to me is something really interesting. I thought the last crossover event they did wasn't really that interesting. I mean, they just did Nazis, and to me, Nazis is the most played out thing ever. But it was kind of cool to see them, you know, dress up in Nazi costumes and be evil versions of themselves. But Elseworlds is exciting because it's basically, you know, you take not as grandiose concepts, but you do a lot of them kind of at once. So I think like what they're doing is that they're having everybody be different things. Flash everyone looks fine, but Green Arrow, who just looks like, you know, he's fitting into clothes that are 2 sizes too small to him. I don't know what it is with CW, but I mean, can't we just find him a suit that fits? It looks terrible.
Yeah, I think it looks horrible. I mean, in my opinion, the Flash Season 4 outfit, in my opinion, looks god-awful. I don't know what... Like, I mean, like, I haven't seen many people's opinions on this, but I can't imagine many people thinking this costume looks cool. I think the costume looks horrible. It's like if you took the Flash and literally put him in, like, the 1940s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just something that really doesn't work today. And man, that's what they do. And like, you know, Stephen Amell, right? He's the he plays Green Arrow. So
he's just the guy stuck in it.
Worse in it. Yeah, poor guy. He's probably like, oh, what character am I going to be? Oh, you're going to be the Flash, and you're like, oh, sweet. He had a pretty cool costume the last couple seasons. Oh, we changed it. Oh, you did.
Yeah.
What does it look like now? And it's like, oh crap, I got stuck in pajamas.
Yeah, it does. It literally looks like pajamas, and it just does not suit him.
Yeah.
Well at all. Even them bringing back the old CBS suit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too.
Way better. And that suit
side by side, it looks so much better.
20 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. It's insane that somebody was like, "Yeah, this looks fine."
Yeah, I don't get it. Supergirl's outfit, look at her. She hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah, she's gonna be
she looks
disappointing.
great.
What's up with that?
I mean, like, if you really think about it, it's just like, I don't know. I don't understand why. It really is. I could go on all day about this Flash suit because it looks so bad.
It really does.
I just don't get it. It's such an easy decision to me to think, hey, let's not put this one in there. I mean, I don't know the whole season of The Flash. I haven't watched it. I watched the 4th season. And honestly, I was so disappointed with that season that I just wrote it off. I was like, I'm not watching The Flash anymore. I'll maybe catch up with it when it comes on Netflix. Because I like to binge it.
Yeah.
I don't like to watch it like every week because I forget most of the storyline.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean,
especially when you get filler episodes, and The Flash has a lot of filler episodes, so I forget the main storyline so fast because it's like been 3 weeks since I've heard of it.
Well, it's a little bit more old school television in that way, where they don't get right to the point.
Oh yeah.
With every episode, they like to have fun with it a little bit at times. I'll admit that sometimes they have a little bit too much fun with it, and have an entire musical episode. And honestly, some people just don't really want to see that.
Oh God.
Yeah. Some people.
Hey, I'll say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't. Okay, never mind. I can't defend it. I'm not gonna defend it. What the heck am I doing? I'm not gonna defend that.
Some people just really don't want to see that, man. I mean, there are people who do, but
if I was gonna watch Glee, I'd watch Glee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I'm not here to watch that stuff.
But what are you here to watch?
I mean, that might be the demographic.
What I am here to watch is to watch the black suited Superman. That is interesting.
That's right. Yeah. Now that looks cool.
Yeah.
So. Dang. Yeah. Like, why didn't they do something with that? Like, something like that with the Flash suit. But yeah, like.
Yeah.
The Superman suit looks amazing.
So.
What do you think they're doing with it, though?
We had disagreed about this earlier. You think it's going to be evil Superman, and I think it's going to be Deadly Superman. Which is, where we've really only seen the black suit before, but, they haven't really set up Superman that well in CW, so it would be kind of weird for them to kill him and then bring him back, and it just, wouldn't seem to fit the bill very well.
Because nobody would care except for Kara. Flash and Arrow would be like, whatever.
This is...
if
you look at this photo, I mean, she just kind of looks like the side character again. They're going to pretend like she's, a big deal, but, she's wearing her same old clothes. What's unique about her? She's going to be the boring one again.
You know what? I just thought of something. I think you're going to really enjoy this. So, I have a little theory here, and this is what I think they're doing. I think that for, we get that picture of Superman in the black suit, and it's just those three. I think Superman is going to be, taking over the CW because Supergirl isn't doing too well. They're going to do a little swap. Superman's going to be going to TV. Supergirl is going to be going to movies. They switch them out like that.
One, Ryan.
I guarantee you, dude. Hey, all I gotta say is Superman's looking pretty good next to Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell, and Supergirl's got a movie coming up, and Superman doesn't have a movie as of right now. So I'm just saying
that would be a really
looks like this was happening.
Really weird way to do it, but okay.
I'd be pretty pissed.
I got another one for you. Okay, this is a little bit simpler. Right.
Okay.
Supergirl in Elseworlds is actually Superman, but they call women men and men women in this Elseworld. So it's like a gender swap thing without swapping the genders. What do you think about that? I mean, so she's so it's like instead of Superman coming first, it was actually Supergirl that came first. In the pod, and then Superman is Supergirl's nephew.
I see.
And everything is just swapped with them, And Superman takes all of Supergirl's villains.
I'd be okay with that.
And they get beaten by Superman.
I mean, I think we're thinking too much into it, but yeah. I think it's just so simply Superman's just in the series, guys. It's
can he just be in the series?
Don't worry about it.
Can he get his own show? No, he can't. We can hope. Can't.
I would be pretty happy if they made his own show. I'd be really happy with that because I'll be honest with you, like Supergirl, I watched the first season. I didn't think it was good.
Yeah,
it wasn't good. You know,
it wasn't really
like,
what I was looking for as a comic book fan. I think it was more geared towards girls who are not into comics. And I don't mean that as like an insult. I mean that as just like just that market. You know, people who are on the outside looking in and thought that like, you know, the idea of it was something worth doing. But it's not like, it doesn't have any of the elements of like Supergirl that I've seen that I've liked, or the elements of Superman's lore that I've really been interested in. It hasn't really gone in the direction I would have gone in, essentially. And I think the Superman show would.
Well, yeah, it's a straight up drama.
Yeah.
You know, all of them
it's
all of them are.
Drama.
You know what I mean? Like, they're that. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of women that do watch The Flash as well. I don't know about Arrow, but there's definitely a lot of women that watch Supergirl. There's definitely a lot of women that watch The Flash. And majority of women probably want to see a different show than a lot of, you know, guys do. You know, comic women that are really into comic books probably want to see the same thing that, like, you know, you and I would want to see. But, you know, like, this is in my opinion, this is really where the show has gone. It's just gone to that, you know, corniness where we really are just getting into, it's all about, like, Barry and Iris and all the friends and all that. And they're not really doing, you know, they're not really, you know, crime fighting all that much. They're really just doing something else, which I personally do not like. I want to see the crime fighting. I want to see that stuff.
It gets old fast, you know. It gets repetitive. Yeah, it's not unique. Like, they do the same things all the time. Intended. You know, it just you can't take the show seriously, even when it's trying to be serious, because of the way that they do it. It's just that it's very too campy, you know. But this is also interesting. This Elseworlds because this is where Ruby Rose's Batwoman comes into play for the first time. Kind of like how they always tease them in another series and then bring them in. CW's doing it with this. Do you think that Batwoman is going to break the cycle? Because Batwoman as a character is not like Flash or Green Arrow or Supergirl. She's much more violent. And a lot of times in the comics she's described as being more violent than Batman. Just kind of bloodthirsty in her approach to it. Do you think this is the part where CW's like, okay,
she's going to be the exact same
done
thing.
You know, the happy charming girl and the drama. Do we take this advantage and do something new, or do you think they're just kind of like putting a fresh coat of paint on something they've already done before?
No way. They're just doing the same thing. They're like, all right, what else can we do? Everybody's getting bored with this Supergirl. All right, well, there's a Batwoman. Alright, sweet, let's put her in. See how she does in that crossover event, and people say that they kind of like her, we'll give her a show.
I could see a few episodes.
Like, that's literally, honestly, that's what I really think they're doing. Like, and it sounds like I'm not trying to be, you know, a jerk or anything to all of those Batwoman fans. Even though I know there's not many.
Not that popular of a character. Like, I would say Batgirl is more popular.
No, she's not a popular character. Yeah, 100%. That's where I'm like, what are you doing with Batwoman? Like, I mean, I get Green Arrow, I get the Flash. Well, actually, I don't get the Flash. Flash is a pretty big character. Green Arrow is, you know, he's not the biggest character, but he's still, like, a pretty decent character. Supergirl, I still can understand, even though she has less to really offer. She has stuff to offer, though. But then Batwoman, I'm sorry, like, I don't think there's anything to offer with her. I think she'd be really cool if they just keep her to what she's supposed to do in this, which is just be in this crossover series, and then I'm pretty sure she's just, like, she'll probably show up here and there.
Yeah.
They keep her like that, perfect. But if they give her her own show or something like that, bad idea.
I can't see what they're going to... Yeah, it's just going to be like, you know, season 2 or season 3 of Arrow, where they're just stealing Batman villains all over again. And Batman...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
hey, there's Deadshot.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, there's, you know... There's Solomon Grundy or whatever. You know, like...
To be fair, they do share similar villains. You know, like Deathstroke and, you know, Deadshot, you could say. You know, I mean, they're basically the same.
No.
Deadshot
I don't even
Green
think
Arrow, if you think about it. Deathstroke like
is a Green Arrow villain originally.
Yeah. Well, not originally, but he is. He definitely faces off against Green Arrow from time to time.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like with Teen Titans. Like, Teen Titans was taking Deathstroke. you know. But it's like I could see that happening, so I don't mind that. Deathstroke is definitely a villain of many characters. But yeah, it's Batman's villains. But to be honest with you, Batman's rogue gallery is so big that you can do that.
True.
It's not like the movies are using them.
Yeah.
So, but then like, I mean, I don't really know what's going on here either because we did get the Monitor, you know, a picture
that's
of the
right.
Monitor. What he's gonna look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, just. I mean, it's an on-set photo, so I can't really go on and just completely bash that. Like I can't the Flash suit because the Flash suit is what it is, you know.
Well, I think
what
the Monitor being in it is really interesting because, you know, do they make the Monitor like active or kind of like almost like a narrator in which he's kind of like throwing them into the Elseworlds and playing around, like kind of playing God and just seeing what happens. Because I think that's really interesting. Like, if he's just taking you to Elseworlds and, like, every episode is just a different Elseworld and the Monitor's just showing it, rather than, like, 4 episodes of trying to, like, take down the Monitor or the Anti-Monitor. I think that would be, like, kind of fun, but it's kind of like, where are they going with it? Because Monitor is so... He's as vast as his responsibility of maintaining the multiverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm excited for. It's like they're really going to be digging deep into this thing. And I personally, that's the only way I said that I was going to come back into this stuff, is if you give me something really interesting with this crossover event, and I'm like, I'm going to watch that crossover event, and then I'm probably going to be done with it because...
Unless, unless there's a real reason to come back to it.
Nothing else to offer.
You know, at this point, those shows are just doing the same thing they've been doing this whole time. They haven't changed. They haven't gotten better. You know, they haven't added a new character that I've really fallen in love with. You know, it's the same thing. And like I said, it hasn't gotten better. You know, there's no reason for me to continue watching it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a sucker for Reverse Flash. But, you know, how many times have they done, like, an evil Flash villain at this point? You know what I mean? Like, it's every season.
Yeah. Well, and they finally switched it up, you know, with season 4 of The Thinker, and you think, okay, this is going to be really cool. Nope. Yeah. It's the same thing. It felt like the same thing. You know, obviously they're not running around, but I don't know. It just was so boring. Yeah. It was so boring. I was so disappointed. And, like, obviously, like, for those who don't really know, I watched The Flash mainly. And I never watched Green Arrow. I watched one season of Supergirl. Excuse the thunder. It's thunder and lightning where I am right now. So... perfect timing for the thunder, but yeah, I don't really watch all the other ones. But with Flash, it's just like, man, I thought they were going to do something really cool with season 4. They just never did. That's why I checked out of it because I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this.
So it'll be fun to go back and watch this crossover. But again, like that's all it's going to be. It's going to be a fun time. I don't think it's going to give me any reasons to go back and continue watching CW shows.
Yeah. So on to some other TV news where we're still sticking with superheroes, but on the Netflix Marvel side, it looks like Luke Cage got canceled completely as well. There won't be a 3rd season of Luke Cage, but it's really just joining Iron Fist. And I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but Quinn, I think it is. What do you think about this? What do you think of Luke Cage getting canceled?
Yeah, something smells fishy at this point, especially since Luke Cage was successful. And it had a really good following. You know, it's almost as, you know, if you said that Jessica Jones was going to be canceled, I would be just as shocked as if you said Luke Cage was going to be canceled. Because to me, both of them are about the same as far as, like, how their fans are and their viewerships and all that kind of stuff. Or at least their popularity goes as far as the show. I don't know their actual watch count numbers in front of me, but as from what I've heard from people, their popularity seems really similar. So it's weird that Luke Cage is getting canceled, and that's basically my point. This is weird. It's weird that it was canceled, you know, right after Iron Fist, right after this Daredevil announcement, and also suspiciously before Disney's upcoming streaming service. You know, that's kind of like where I'm thinking this is going. You know, are we seeing them being moved on to Disney's service? That's the rumor that I've heard so far, and that's what makes the most sense to me. What do you think, Ryan?
Honestly, I'm trying to look up all the shows that had the most viewers, And
Yeah.
it looks like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones were pretty up there. Obviously, Iron Fist was like at the bottom, so that's why nobody was surprised that Iron Fist got canceled, especially with season 1 like reviews. Nobody liked that show, and then like season 2, people thought it was better. You know, it was a better show. But the thing was, it was already too late at that point, in my opinion. But Luke Cage getting canceled, that is so weird, because I'm almost positive season 2 or season 1 did really, really well. So, I am very surprised they got rid of Luke Cage. I think that
it's too surprising.
There's a reason. Yeah, I think there's a reason. I think the reason is, they're going to do Heroes for Hire. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know, I think it makes most sense. It's like, why not just take both these characters?
Yeah.
People really enjoy them together, especially when you see them in Defenders. I mean, for me, that's one of my favorite parts of Defenders.
See, I disagree. I didn't think they have... I think those two particular were, like, anything remarkable. Like, I was hoping that they would really kind of hit it off, and I just didn't see that in Defenders. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that they won't, or that, like, Heroes for Hire is going to suck or anything. But I didn't see enough evidence in Defenders for me to think that they were going to be a great pairing.
Well, the thing is, like, it definitely was in Defenders as well.
Right.
But mainly, I would say, if you watched all of Luke Cage Season 2, that's where it really shows. You know, like, when Iron Fist shows up for a brief... no spoilers. When Iron Fist shows up briefly in the show, and it was just so awesome. Really, just to see Luke Cage and Iron Fist, like, that's when it was, like, the best. That's when it's like, okay, they need to do a Heroes for Hire. I think they're doing this for a reason. I think they're really trying to make that show work. And if they're not, I could be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm right. Because I do like both those characters. You know?
It is weird that they would cancel them without announcing Heroes for Hire, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why not just announce Heroes for Hire instead of canceling the two shows?
I mean, they could be in development of it now. Maybe they saw that the numbers were going down with both series.
Right.
So then they're like, okay, well, why don't we try to salvage this and put them both in a show? Because maybe we can combine these viewership, even though most of them are going to be people that watch both. But, combine the viewership and try to make something out of it.
And
something people
you'll
enjoy.
attract new people with that, too. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Luke Cage or Iron Fist. Like, I watched a couple episodes. I didn't get too deep into it. I'm just a big fan of Daredevil, but I would absolutely watch Heroes for Hire. I think that concept itself is a lot more interesting and a lot more unique than those two separate. So I think you would gain a lot of new audiences as well as your old audiences if you put the two together. Because it's just a unique partnership that we haven't seen yet. I think the closest thing we've ever got to it is your example there, and then maybe Daredevil Punisher, but that was, like, not really a partnership, That was them kind of fighting each other the whole time.
Yeah. I think what I'm actually looking at, like, now I'm looking at, like, the viewerships and just saying, like, which shows were the most watched. Yeah. And just keeps giving me just a ranking of, like, people's personal opinions. And it's just like, no, I want the actual viewership, but...
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm almost positive I remember that Luke Cage, like, Season 2 was, had way better numbers than Jessica Jones Season 2.
Right.
So, like, with thinking about it like that, why the heck wasn't Jessica Jones canned and Luke Cage wasn't?
Yeah.
And
that's what yeah.
So, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that add up. But, yeah, like, they haven't hired it. Or they haven't, like, announced it. Why would you cancel both before announcing that series?
That's the thing. So,
so...
I mean, what do you think the odds are that they're canceling it for Heroes for Hire as opposed to they just don't have the either return they were looking for or they just don't have the creativity to continue on? Like, what do you think the odds are that it's being canceled for something better or it's just being canceled? Like 50-50, 60-40, 70-30 kind of
60,
thing.
Yeah. 60-40, it's being, I'd say 60 being canceled because it's being canceled.
Yeah.
It didn't bring back the return, unfortunately. It stinks to say that because, like, I did like Luke Cage. I actually was a fan of that show. Yeah. I watched both seasons and I was able to get through them, perfectly fine. But Jessica Jones, I don't know how the heck Like, that really is just the one. Like, I'm like, I don't know how the heck that got, like, hey, we're gonna have a third season. I mean, it's not announced, but
Yeah. So here's my thing. I think
it
I
could
agree.
be
I
next.
think
It
it's
could be next.
60-40. It's being canceled to being canceled. But I disagree with you on the reason. I think it's being canceled because they just don't have the support internally anymore. Not the return, rather like they don't know where to go with the character. They don't have any stories
I see
lined
what
up
you're saying
for him.
now.
They don't have another villain for him. They don't have a reasonable
You
way
can
to
make a
keep
villain
the
out of
cast
anybody.
on. That kind of stuff. Like they're kind of like almost like the well ran dry. Like they ran out of ideas. They don't know what to do with these characters, and nobody came up with anything by the deadline. That's what I think it kind of came down to, because that's the only thing that makes sense compared to, why they would keep Luke Cage as opposed to Jessica Jones. Because I think there's a lot you can still do with Jessica Jones. She's a detective, so you can just have her hunt down another case. I think she's a little bit more flexible as a character as opposed to someone like Iron Fist, who kind of needs to have a rival or someone to fight. Or Luke Cage, who is kind of just a man doing man stuff and making a living and all that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, I mean, the thing that's so funny too is like, you'd think that like, okay, Luke Cage has like 2 villains. He has Diamondback and Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
But then like, they're both in this first season and one dies.
Yeah.
And the other one just gets defeated and they never use him again. And then they use some unknown villain. Like, I'm sorry, but nobody really knew who like Bushmaster was.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Who's this guy? And it's like, there's a reason why he wasn't that great of a villain. Because he just isn't a good villain. I mean, I don't know. It's like, they definitely have a villain problem. That's something the CW has a problem with, I think, too.
The CW has a ton of villains, though. Just none of them are really, like, remarkable or stand out because, they're
I'm thinking more I think the more Supergirl, though. She has that problem. I don't think Flash does.
Got, like,
I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Supergirl has any real like.
I think they did Metallo once.
For most people,
I think.
Yeah, and it's like you can take Superman villains, but it's like I don't really want them to do that.
Yeah, I'd rather see her
it's like,
own villains or something like that.
Yeah. But then, like, you could do the same thing with Netflix series, where they do it all the time. Like, like the villains you think weren't that great, like Bushmaster, they make him a villain, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, most people, like, the comic book fans are like, who's this guy? Why is he a villain?
Yeah, why didn't you do my favorite villain? That's always a classic comic book fan thing.
Yeah,
like, you want your favorite, not what works for the show or even what they can do. Like, you just want to see your favorite as opposed to...
But now with these characters, they're like...
Yeah, where are they going to go?
You know what? I don't have a favorite.
Even if they do Heroes for Hire, who are they going to fight? The Hand again? Like, Kingpin?
They could make it... I think that, I mean, a villain would be really tough to pull out. But they could do it,
Yeah.
They could definitely do something.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like a Marvel
they could find something they would want to do.
A million villains.
They could steal just a random Marvel villain from anyone. You know what I mean?
Stiltman. They could take Stiltman away from Daredevil.
Hey.
I would watch that.
Hey, listen.
I would watch that.
Listen, no. Stiltman is Daredevil's. When I think Daredevil, I think Stiltman. All right? You are not... Listen, I've been waiting 3 seasons for Stiltman. I will not have that. I will not stand for that.
I know. If they put Stiltman in there for, say, Daredevil season 4 or something like that, I'd be totally in on that.
Oh, I'd be watching that.
I'd be down for that.
Hands down.
And that's something that Daredevil's definitely gonna have, because I watched the whole season 3 and I actually really enjoyed season 3. It was really good. But I think the same problem's gonna happen with that, where it's gonna be like kind of like the Flash,
where it gets repetitive.
We're just gonna be getting
you're gonna keep fighting the same villains.
It's Kingpin. We get the Kingpin, like we've gotten him twice now. Yeah. It's been fresh, like cool. I like the Kingpin a lot. He's a really good character. Yeah. And then they introduced Bullseye. Bullseye is really good in the series. I won't spoil anything, but man, they did a great job with Bullseye. So, they got 2 villains that still could work.
Right.
But, I mean, like, don't get repetitive. There's definitely some Daredevil villains, because he's a pretty big character, Daredevil. But yeah, I don't even know who they would do for Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you gotta have them fight like Hydra or something like that, And I think that's something that's kind of tricky in a Netflix, in at least the way these shows are set up, is that you kind of need the characters to be the spotlight more than the villains. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think if you're gonna do Heroes for Hire, you have to have it about Luke Cage and Iron Fist more than the villains, but you still need a good villain to make it worth watching. So I think that's kind of like that
definitely.
weird situation where you get in, where it's like, what do you focus on? And I don't know. That's why I say it's more likely that these shows are being canceled because, they just don't have the internal support as opposed to them giving the way to something better. I mean, I hope it's giving away to something better. Maybe it really is that they're just, they're canceling ahead of time because Disney's picking them up on their streaming service. I sincerely doubt that.
Yeah, no way.
For the main,
they got all the MCU.
Yeah, for the main reason of that Netflix owns the rights to that at this point. I can't imagine Netflix would allow that to just slip out of their hands.
Yeah.
And why would they go for Luke Cage and Iron Fist and not Daredevil?
And not try to do Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah?
He's one of those characters, too. I could see Moon Knight being a series, He's kind of like a Batman.
Yeah.
They could do it.
Yeah, you could. But I think he's too similar to Daredevil. You know what I mean? Not like...
That's true. He's kind of... I know
what I mean? Like,
yeah,
in
like
the way that he
he'd be
is,
pretty similar.
not really in his character or his personality or his abilities, but it's just like, I feel like if I was watching Moon Knight, it would be a lot like watching Daredevil. And that's just not something... Like, I'd rather see a Daredevil Season 4 than a Moon Knight Season 1.
Yeah.
Or maybe...
I actually, I'm really hoping that they actually just take Daredevil and put him in the movies. To be honest with you.
I think this guy
Daredevil
is really good at playing Daredevil, and I think he could do a good job in the movies.
He's a huge character. Like, don't never underplay Daredevil too, because he is such a big character.
He was really popular too at one point. He was very popular character.
Even if you go back to the '60s, really just thinking about Daredevil, many Marvel characters, or actually more like very few Marvel characters, debuted in the '60s with their own title, comic book.
Yeah.
Spider-Man didn't even get his own title comic book. He first debuted in Amazing Fantasies. Thor, he was in Journey into Mystery. And then Ant-Man, Tales to Astonish. And then Iron Man, Tales of Suspense. They weren't in there. They tested them out with those characters. They were like, okay, is this character going to work? And then they moved him to their own series.
Wasn't he a villain first?
No. He was straight up in his own, he debuted Daredevil #1, and then, he had his own his own series.
He wasn't a Spider-Man villain first? I thought he was a villain of Spider-Man's, and then...
No. I mean, they fought, you
right.
know? I'm pretty sure there was, issue...
Why don't we look it up right now?
I think it was issue 17 of The Amazing Spider-Man. That's when he showed up, but that wasn't his first appearance. His first appearance was
Daredevil 1, yeah.
Yeah, Daredevil #1.
Oh.
Yeah, Daredevil #1. So it's like, if you look back, he is a huge title character in the 60s.
Yeah.
Not obviously we're not in the 60s anymore, but they did a lot of stuff with Daredevil. Daredevil's had some great stories like Born Again. That's very much, like what the third season kind of it looks like. And then, so I think they need to switch it, especially with Kingpin and Bullseye. Put them in a movie. I would love to see that.
And both the actors they have,
especially Kingpin.
I think Daredevil is something that really sets them apart in terms of the other shows, because those are some really, really good actors, and they are on top of their game in that show.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, Daredevil really, you said it perfectly, actually. It's like, when you watch Daredevil, in my opinion, it's a completely different show than all the other ones, because it's a bigger deal. I feel like it's like, it's a huge deal.
It's a league of its own.
And now really on to another topic where we're going to be talking about some theories and just Avengers 4 leaks in general, really just all this stuff that's come out, where Gwyneth Paltrow today she took a picture of what she will look like in her armor in Avengers 4, which is news to a lot of people. Where
Yeah?
we didn't think she was gonna have an armor in Avengers 4.
No. I think that's...
But then we also got, yeah, and then there's toys as well. But Quinn, what do you think of all the toys and all the leaks and what Gwyneth Paltrow looks like?
Toys are like one thing, right? I'm more interested in the Gwyneth Paltrow armor leak because that's something that like it's solid kind of evidence. The toys are interesting because they do show like the kind of like spacesuit outfits and all that kind of stuff, which kind of begs the question of, are the Avengers going into space or are they going into the quantum realm? But either way, I'm excited that Gwyneth Paltrow is finally going to be in the main spotlight. I think she's been a great actor. She's been really good for Iron Man as a character this whole time. So putting her in a power armor, and I'm all for it. Call her Ironheart. This is going to be dope. I am so excited to see her get involved.
Yeah, that's a big thing right now. Like, thinking about, like, people are like, oh, is she going to be Ironheart? Well, I hope they don't do that. Because I feel like that's something that Marvel kind of wants to go in. They want to go in that direction, I think, down the line. Where they want to introduce, like, they're setting up Miles Morales. Scott Lang's daughter, she's supposed to be, what's her... she's supposed to be one of the Young Avengers. I forget exactly what her name was.
I have no idea.
But like, they're like lesser known. Some of them are lesser known
like
heroes. But
they're setting up like a Teen Titans, but for Marvel.
Yes, exactly. I think they're doing something like that where they do have a Young Avengers.
Right.
So they could be doing that, but for this, she has like Gwyneth Paltrow or Pepper Potts. She has a rescue armor in the comic books. So that's exactly what I think this is. And it looks exactly like it because if you look down in the toys, one of the images shows, you have Iron Man on one side and then it looks like the rescue armor. So the rescue armor looks exactly like what her suit looks like. So I'm thinking that's what they're doing. But honestly, I don't know what to think about this because it's like, is she going to be fighting Thanos? Would Tony let Pepper fight Thanos? I don't think he would. I think it's like, this dude almost killed me. So why would I why would I put you in harm's way?
I think that she's going to be going to Titan to find Tony. I think she's going to go after him.
Oh, you think
so? That's kind of the thing that I get. I think the Avengers are going to kind of like split up and try to see if they can find either like Tony or a Titan or they can find Thanos or, I think they're going to be kind of like scouring the universe, and I think Rocket's going to have a big part in that. Where they can go and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that they're going to go, and this is why, I don't think that this is for the quantum realm because, well, none of them know what the quantum realm is. Most of them don't even know the quantum realm exists. So it seems to me that the quantum realm, at least practically, just doesn't make as much sense as them going out into space. Even though we all know that the quantum realm is probably going to play a huge part in Avengers Infinity War, or it's going to be a key thing, or, we know it's important somehow. I don't think that's how the movie's going to start out. I don't think that's where these, new costumes, these new armors are really going to come into play. I think this is like Avengers in space kind of stuff. Like, where's Tony? Where's Thanos? What are we doing here? How do we find these guys? Kind of thing. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And the thing that's really tough to nail down for a lot of these theories, and, I've come up with some theories on my own, like what I think is going to happen, but, it's really difficult to say exactly what's going to happen because for this movie, nobody knows what's going to happen. Even if you heard all the leaks and you believe them, where, I'll describe some to you because, Quinn, I don't know if you dug that deep and you saw any trailer leaks or anything.
Yeah.
But... people are saying that, people are saying that, Tony and Nebula are going to show up in Wakanda, and it's going to be right after the battle. And this is, one trailer. They're giving all you these different things. And Tony Stark and Paul and Scott Lang are going to go through the quantum realm to go time travel to get all the Infinity Stones from all the other movies. So this movie is going to literally pay homage to all the MCU movies. Because you're going to be going back in time and you're going to be seeing all the events. and then there's another, and like there's just different things. But I personally don't think that's
a cool
gonna happen.
idea.
Because I think that's
But
a little. Don't get me
no,
wrong. I
I
think
don't
that's
think
cool,
so.
but I don't think it's gonna happen. And you got to look at the characters that have the suits on. I mean, we don't see an Ant-Man, so we don't know if this. I bet you too that this is not for the quantum realm. I think this is mainly for space, because like you have Thor and Rocket, Captain America, and Hulk. Those are the characters that look like they have the suits on.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they could be going into the quantum realm, but I think they're going into space.
Too. And honestly, I think that because we don't know where Thanos is right at the end of Avengers. I think he's back on Titan.
I think it's speculated he's on Titan. Yeah, that's what everybody speculates.
He's on Titan with Tony Stark, with Nebula, and I think somehow Nebula and Tony Stark are going to get a message out to the sorry, not to the Titans, to the Avengers. God, there's too many teams these days. It's too much. They're gonna get a message out to the Avengers like, "Hey, he's here. Come get him," sort of kind of thing. I think that's what these suits are all for. And Pepper's gonna show up in that armor to go and pick them up.
That's true. And so, for what you were saying, like when everybody's going to be going to Titan, they're going to get a signal out and everything. Yeah. The only thing is, when you look at where Thanos is at the end of Avengers 4, it's paradise, Yeah. And Titan, as we know, is not paradise. The whole thing is completely destroyed. The planet is, it's all in ruins. But, so the only thing is, people are saying that it's still Titan.
I'm saying it's still Titan. I believe that because he has the Reality Stone. He has everything he needs to rebuild Titan. And to me, that makes a lot of sense that like he would go out and try to rebuild Titan.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's something different, where it's the Time Stone that they use. And because when he's at the end of Avengers 4, or Avengers Infinity War,
right,
he gets stabbed with Thor's axe, right? And he's like dead. He was about to die. Snaps his fingers, comes back from the soul world, and he still has the axe in his chest. Where the axe gets pushed out because of the if you can see all the stones lighting up.
Yeah.
So he's using all of the stones at once. So he's obviously pushing out the axe with the space stone, also teleporting away. But if you slow it down, there is a little bit of green in there. Meaning that the time stone is being used too. So people are thinking maybe he went to the future of Titan, or maybe he went to the past of Titan. Like he just went to paradise of what Titan looks like.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. Or he could be rebuilding it, but I think there would have to be a significant time jump for that to happen, because it's a planet that's completely destroyed. That's gonna be a long time before anything happens. But with the power of the Infinity Gauntlet, you could do it in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
So you just don't know. You know what I mean? But like, I think that I really think that it's going to be a little bit simpler than everybody thinks it's going to be. I think the quantum realm has to play a part because Ant-Man's stuck in there right now.
Right.
So, obviously, quantum realm has to be in there a little bit, but I don't think it's going to play as big of a role as a lot of people are thinking.
Right.
There will be time travel involved. There'll probably be times where they go back in time. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as everybody else is thinking. You still have to have the Avengers versus Thanos. Yeah. Because that's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's tough.
It's so the thing that I think is interesting about this movie is that we get to see him use all the time stones. All the Infinity Stones. And the ones we saw him use the least was Soul and Mind. He didn't really get to use the Mind Stone because at the very, very end. And I think that's like kind of the most interesting part about this is that it's kind of like, how is he going to use those stones in this movie? And that's what I'm really excited for, him using Soul Stone. Because we still know so little about the Soul Stone and the Soul World and how the Soul Stone's powers work and what exactly it does. So I think that's kind of like... And even Boromir, however you pronounce it, there's still so many questions about it. I think that's almost going to play a larger part in the movie than the quantum realm. and all, the stuff that we know. Because again, like a lot of the most exciting thing about this movie is that we don't know where they're going. It's fun to speculate, but we have no like real solid lead as to how it's gonna go down, other than the quantum realm. So I think like they kind of want to go for the unknown thing, and to me, the most unknown thing is the Soul Stone, and that's what I think this movie's gonna kind of boil down to, is kind of cracking the code of the Soul Stone. I feel like since we didn't really get to see it at the very end, like the Infinity Gauntlet is at a point where it's not really able to be used as much as it was. So I think that Thanos is gonna. Oh yeah. So I think that instead of Thanos being able to use all of the stones at once now, I think he's only gonna be able to use certain stones, like at one time. Like he'll have to use the Time Stone and then find a way to use the Soul Stone. I don't think he's just gonna be able to like crunch his hand again and immediately do all of them.
Yeah, no, that was something that was revealed too, because the Russo brothers and the writers of Infinity War, they said that he's not going to be using that gauntlet all that much, because it's like you have to kind of ground it a little bit and be like, okay, hey, this is, you can't just do whatever you want. You can't just go and snap your fingers again. There is a consequence.
Right.
The thing's toast. Like, you're not using that weapon again because of how much power you just used. So, and that's why also, like, why did Thanos remove his armor in Infinity War? Well, because he thinks when he has two stones, he's already the most powerful being in the universe.
Right.
Nothing can defeat him. So it's like he takes off the armor. Well, in Avengers 4, he has armor on. So obviously, he took on a significant amount of damage after Infinity War. Not just with Thor's axe, but just snapping his fingers. His entire arm is burnt.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like he's not going to be using the arm that much, and that's why he has a giant sword. And it's like, why do you need a sword when you got an Infinity Gauntlet? Well, that thing's not going to really help you out as much as it did in the first movie. So it's like,
sword. That sounds badass.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're going to do something with him where he's going to be struggling in this movie. He's on his last leg, in the Avengers. But the thing is, like, also, thinking about that, you have Thor, who already proved that he could take him out by himself, even when Thanos has the entire Infinity Gauntlet.
Right.
He can take him out by himself, but you also have the Avengers to back him up, along with Captain Marvel, who's supposed to be the most powerful of all of them.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Thanos is even going to be a threat in this point, because you just proved that Stormbreaker is more powerful than the Infinity Gauntlet. It went right through it.
True.
So it's like,
It is kind of like at that point where
do?
it's like, how do you make Thanos still a threat without making him just undefeatable? You know what I mean? And I think that's going to be a big theme in this movie, is Thanos kind of like almost on the run, or, kind of with his back against the wall. Like everyone in the universe is after him. You know what I mean? Everybody in the universe is coming for him. And he has all the tools to defend himself. But they just don't work like they used to. And he has to kind of get creative with it. Which is why I think Soul Stones and Mind Stones and Time Stones are really going to be a big part of this movie, because they're so unquantified. I mean, we've seen the Mind Stone work, and it seems pretty simple. Tap the Mind Soul, you control the person who you touch. And the Space Stone, kind of similar as well. You just kind of create rifts between worlds. But like things like reality and power are a lot less simpler. You know what I mean? They're hard to even contain.
Yeah, I mean, you got to bring back all those dead characters, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different reality, I think. It's going to be a completely different reality. Somebody's going to be sacrificing themselves to get the whole world back on track. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the thing is, nobody else can, they already said it, nobody else can hold it except for him. So it's like, he's not going to do it. He's not going to turn it back. Yeah. Unless you make him good, but dang, that would be really hard.
That'd be a bad payoff,
That'd be
too.
really
that
hard.
Would be like... That'd be a bad ending. That'd be like such a...
Yeah, try to convince us, I mean, they did it in Sam Raimi's Doc Ock. I mean, not saying Thanos is Dr. Octopus, but they did it in that, so they paid it off there.
But it was set up to be like that. Like, they had the proper setup.
Yeah, it's a huge stretch.
He wasn't a bad person. He became one.
Yeah.
Thanos...
Yeah, and he was manipulated.
Thanos' very core ideology is twisted. Everything he believes in is twisted. It's not like, where
yeah.
Doc Ock, like, he gets it twisted. Thanos is twisted. You know, like, because Doc Ock's goal remains the same throughout the film. You know, he wants to create something for the betterment of man. And it's just how he does it that changes. Whereas Thanos, like, his goal is mass genocide for the sake of mankind. There's no way that you can go around that.
Yeah, see, Quinn, right there, dude. They just want to better everybody. It's okay.
They're all good guys, you know? I mean, really, the villain here...
Thanos is a good dude. That's all I gotta say.
Really, honestly. He is.
But
he's a sweetheart.
But yeah, that's our like little rant, and well, not even just a rant, just like our theories and speculation about Avengers 4 and how, God, you can really come up with any theory because really is just, you know, nobody knows what's gonna happen. You can say that anything's gonna happen because it's all speculation. But I personally like to do it. I know Quinn, you like to do it too. Love to speculate this stuff. But of course, webheads, that'll do it for our podcast today. Thank you all very much for watching. Quinn, you want to say anything to them before we
no, guys, we're getting these things out more at a weekly pace now. So we really do appreciate you guys' continued support. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down at the bottom. It really helps us out, and it really helps us make the best podcast that we can possibly make. If you guys like something about the podcast or you liked something that we used to do, just say it so in the bottom. I'll take it all into consideration when I'm editing them up later. But that's all I have for it.
Heck yeah. Alright, but thank you all very much for watching. We very much appreciate it. Bye-bye.